All right, guys, now that we've covered Ielts, we're gonna move on to TOEFL. Okay, now TOEFL is very similar, but at the same time, quite different to Ielts. Now, you might wanna know, how are they different to one another? Ielts, basically when you even take the examination, you would have to go to the center, and in most of the time, it takes place at the British Council, and which is most likely located in Bangkok. But as for TOEFL, right, it's based on a computer test. So Ielts, you'll be using your hands and you'll be writing a lot, but TOEFL, you'll be using your keyboard, all right? So those are actually the two main differences. Now, you might want to know what is more difficult, but I'll get to that later. So first, we're gonna understand what TOEFL is and the components that make up TOEFL. So you have the first part, which is listening, okay? So listening, as you know, it's 60 to 90 minutes compared to 30 minutes in Ielts. The reason why TOEFL has extended between 60 to 90 minutes, because TOEFL in this case are a lot more streamlined to real life events that you'd probably be using your English for communication a lot. So that's why listening is very important according to TOEFL. Now, what will you be listening to? Basically, you'll be listening to different types of discussions, but they're never ever more than 3 people, all right? So you have an audio that basically plays. Sometimes it's long and sometimes it's short, depends, but it's not one audio. Sometimes you could have 2, 3, or 4. That really depends, okay? It changes all the time, all right? So you have 60 to 90 minutes. Most of the time that the examiner that's present there will allow you to listen in. Now, for listening here, you'll be wearing headphones, okay? That's the difference. In Ielts, your listening is done through a player, all right, through a speaker. So with the headphones on, you'll basically be able to hear it a lot more clearly, all right? But again, it is 60 to 90 minutes, yes? So it's up to you to decide which one is better for you. Now, the next part, which is writing. Now, writing in this case, again, it's an essay-based writing. And in this case, TOEFL and Ielts are very, very similar to each other. So again, you'll basically be given topics to choose from. And from those topics, you're going to be asked to write an essay. Now, how long does this essay have to be? Now, this actually depends. Although Ielts is a lot more structured, TOEFL changes all the time. So the TOEFL exams are a lot more complex in the sense that you never really know what's coming, okay? So sometimes you could be asked to write 150 words to 250 words, but usually it never goes more than 250 words, all right? So don't worry too much about it. Most importantly is that you have exactly a topic that suits you. And usually, let me just give you a little bit of an example of some of the topics. Okay, so one very common topic would be basically also about your student life, about your school, about your classmates. Sometimes it could be about your family, or it could be about your father's profession. So they really differ, but don't worry, they're not technical topics, okay? Not technical, so you don't need technical knowledge to be able to answer these essays. What are the examiners looking for when you're doing your writing, you must ask, is, what do you think? It's your sentence compositions, okay? That when every time you make a sentence, that it has to be grammatically correct, all right? So that is what the examiners look for the most. And the next, reading is also 60 minutes. Now, for reading on TOEFL, the reason why it's 60 to 80 minutes, it's because you have almost 3 to 4 passages or 3 to 4 texts to read from. And each text will have their different set of questions. So we're looking almost at around 50 to 60 questions for reading. And then finally you have speaking, okay? So speaking, as you can see here, is 20 minutes, okay? Now you must ask, since you're doing on computer and you're speaking, who are you speaking to? Don't worry, because you have your headphones have mics. So you speak into the mic, right? And then based on the examiner, he will basically assess you on the spot, okay? On the spot. And then that is considered your TOEFL examination. So again, guys, just to conclude everything, the difference between IELTS and TOEFL, the main difference is that IELTS is on paper and TOEFL is on a computer, all right? But both exams you still have to take at a center, all right? So things like cheating and whatnot could definitely never happen because there will be examiners there present. So that's it for IELTS and for TOEFL. And don't forget to click like and share this video to all your Facebook friends. Bye.